I believe education unlocks your dream life. But don't be fooled, I was not always with this mindset. I grew up poor in downtown Los Angeles. My parents were immigrants from Mexico and they met at Belmont High School. My mom attended night school to learn English and my dad was attending day school. They met and they became teenage parents. And by the time I was born, they were already separated. My dad started doing drugs and became a heroin addict. He never remarried and never had any more children. So my dad was in and out of prison, had a lot of crime related to his drug addiction. Growing up with a dad like that, I saw my dad get run over by a bus, beat up by gang members, and the police shot him as well. When I was just 12 years old, my best friend was killed. We were waiting at the bus stop, waiting for our parents to pick us up or the bus, when gang members came and asked us what gang we were from. And like always, we ran away. And this time though, the next day we found out that our friend David had been stabbed with an ice pick and he died, just 12 years old. And my recollection of that is that we didn't have any therapy. Nobody talked to me about how I was feeling. And all these feelings were there because as an adult, if you don't deal with your feelings as a child, you're going to deal with them as an adult. Feelings buried alive never die. Because death was so common, we never talked about our feelings about it. It was just like, oh, another one bites the dust. It happened so often, we were so desensitized. So here we go. At 12, my best friend was killed. And then at 19, my cousin, who's here in this picture, he was killed in a drive-by shooting. And when I was 21 years old, my mom shot and killed her boyfriend when she was pregnant. She became a fugitive for 5 years before going to prison. When this all happened, I had a job. I was working as a legal secretary in an attorney's office. And really, I thought that that job was as good as it gets for me. My boss, he asked me what college I was from when he interviewed me. I was not in college. I didn't even have a high school diploma. I did go back to school. I got my high school diploma at 30 years old, and I didn't stop going to school. I actually kept going, and at 36, I became an educational psychologist. And that's quite a miracle because 60% of people that grow up in poverty stay in poverty. And also children of the incarcerated tend to have that trajectory as well. So you might be asking yourself, like, what happened? What's my current situation? Today I fly in private jets and I get to take the love of my life with me. We have a life that's unrecognizable to my early years. I get to pretend I'm a queen all the time. I travel all over the world. I've been to Dubai, Mount Everest, London, private tours of the Eiffel Tower. I live in this Pimp Daddy mansion where music videos are filmed and movies are filmed here. I grew up in a 1-bedroom, 800 square foot apartment with 7 people, sharing 1 bathroom. Today I have 7 bathrooms and I'm basically the only one using them. I do have my significant life partner living with me. And so it's the 2 of us in this home with 7 bathrooms. I did mention to you the dismal statistics of how little people get out of poverty. Poverty is a mentality and it's a legacy. Sometimes we inherit it from our parents, sometimes our environment. And then we perpetuate it with our thoughts and how we speak and the people that we allow around us and what we allow as our jobs. And so that impacts us, what we watch on television, what we're listening to, conversations that we engage in. All of this keeps you in poverty, either literally or figuratively. And I mean figuratively in the sense of you could have money in the bank, but you feel like you don't have enough money in the bank. One of the first things that I did to get out of this mentality, unbeknownst to me, I was not present to the fact that I was in poverty mentality. At 36 years old, I became an educational psychologist. Going to college taught me how to do my job, but it didn't teach me how to live the life of my dreams. At 36 years old, I was fist fighting with my sister, who was a police officer. We grew up fighting all the time, and that's just the way it was for us. We didn't know how to solve our problems. One day I was invited to a personal development seminar. I went to this personal development seminar. After 3 days, I realized a lot of things, including that I don't dream in my life because I grew up in such scarcity and such violence. My mom married and divorced many times, so a lot of abandonment from my stepfathers and my dad going in and out of prison. This caused me to feel like abandonment issues, like you love me but you could leave me kind of thing. And I was acting in certain ways about that. And I didn't know all of that until I discovered these blind spots that I had. After the 3-day program, my coach that they assigned to me had a one-on-one meeting with me and asked me, where do I see myself in 5 years? I was working as an educational psychologist, making $70,000 a year at the time. I went from a secretary earning $40,000 a year to $70,000 a year. My life didn't look too different from when I was earning $40,000 to $70,000. I still was in the same house and I still was broke. Being broke and having poverty mentality didn't change when I got $30,000 more a year. Nothing changed. I just spent more money. I didn't know how to handle my money. So here I am at this personal development seminar. And of course, before I went to the seminar, I was blaming everything and everybody for why my life was the way it was. I don't know how to be loving because my mom wasn't loving to me. I don't have money in the bank because I never saw my mom go into the bank. Both my parents never had jobs. So I didn't have an experience of parents that gave me any type of wisdom about money. So here I am at the personal development seminar. This person asked me, where are you going to be in 5 years? And I said, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years, except that I'll be 5 years older. I don't mean that I don't know, like something's going to change. I meant why would anything be different? I was living Groundhog Day. Like every day looked like the day before. And there was no reason why 5 years from now, my life would look any different. We do get cost of living increases in the school districts, but that also means that the cost of living increased. So really my economy wasn't going to change much in 5 years. But anyhow, the lady told me, you know what, sit there for 10 minutes, think about it, and I'll be right back. I sat there for pretty much almost the 10 minutes wondering, why is this woman making me go through this very hard exercise? It was literally hurting my brain. I don't know what she wants from me. Why do I have to do this silly thing? I couldn't think of anything. Thoughts were racing through my mind. Eventually, they slowed down, and there was an opportunity in between my thoughts, my usual and customary thoughts, where I actually had a vision, an opening that allowed me to see a future that was unrecognizable to me. In that moment, I feel like it was divine intervention, where I got this notion that if I believe in God and I believe in miracles, what is possible for me? Because our brain is so programmed to protect us that it does not allow you to say big goals for yourself. It doesn't allow you to dream big, because it's never seen you do that before. And if you do happen to say a big dream, your brain will almost immediately minimize it. It'll say, if I say I want to have $1 million, it'll say, but you don't even have $10 in the bank. So I got this notion and I said, yeah, okay, if I believe in God and miracles, and if it's not up to me, then all right, let's do it. And if it's not up to me, I'm going to live in a pimp daddy mansion, the kind where music videos are filmed. I'm going to have $3 million or more in my bank account. I'm going to have the love of my life. I didn't even believe in the love of my life. I believed that it might be possible for other people, but people on television, not for me. I also said I would have a life that looked like I was always on vacation. I was working as a school psych, and I did start a business from my garage. I worked 10 hours a day on average, and weekends and holidays. And so for me to say I would have a life that looked like I was always on vacation, it didn't match my current reality. And then I also said that I would fly in private jets. Again, at this time, I was bouncing checks. I wasn't even bouncing checks in the business, okay? I didn't know anything about finances. And then, just so you know where my mindset was at, I said, if I believe in God and I believe in miracles, my daughter would go to college. And I drew my daughter right here in this picture at the right-hand corner. That's her with her cap and gown graduating from college. So even though this picture looks like a 4-year-old drew it, my brain saw all the details, all of it. And when I saw that for the first time, I wanted that. I didn't want that before. I didn't think it was possible. I never would have verbalized it. Once my brain saw all the details and it saw like it already happened. This is 5 years from now. This already happened. It allowed me to feel like I have these things. And it felt like it was possible that I could have these things. And from that point forward, I became relentless about my dreams. I realized in that moment that I never dreamed. Most of us set goals that are based on what we think we can do. Most of us don't make unreasonable goals. And I have a lot of unreasonable goals in the sense of there's no reason why not. One of the problems that I had and most of us have is we're very reasonable. So because we're very reasonable and we've never seen these things happen before, we don't make them our dream because we don't think they're possible. Like getting along with our sisters, like getting along with our parents, loving them unconditionally, feeling that they love us unconditionally. Because we don't have that experience, we don't even say we want that, because why would we say that if we're going to let ourselves down or people are going to laugh at us when it doesn't happen? So we don't even say it. We limit ourselves on what is possible. So this drawing is the first step. I did say that this would happen in 5 years. And if I believed in miracles and God, that this was going to happen. Everything happened in 2 years, except the part of my daughter graduating from college because she was young at the time. But by 5 years, she definitely was well into college. All of this happened most within 2 years without me having to go back to school and learn one new thing and without having to invest $1. Okay? It is all completely dreams coming true for no reason. A miracle. And I call this technology the mastery of miracles because I don't tell you how to make this happen. We don't know how to make a miracle happen. And in reality, it's none of our business. The minute that we know how a miracle happens, it ceases to be a miracle. So we need to change our mentality, our mindset to a miracle mindset, especially all of us who have nonprofits, because we're dealing with the marginalized, with the things that sometimes it will take a miracle. But if we don't believe in the miracle and we're not calling out the miracle, then it's less likely to happen. Could we improve things? We could improve things. But do we want to improve or do we want to eliminate, right? Do we want to eliminate margins? The second thing that I did, I designed my environment. I grew up in poverty, but I didn't know it. Everybody around me was in the same situation as me. Nobody was doing better than me. What happened for me is that when I got a job at a law office, I got a job there because my cousin works there. Okay? It wasn't because I said, this is my dream job. I got a job at a law office. I was 19 years old. And from then on, I thought that was like I said, as good as it gets for me. I didn't know that I was broke. Everybody around me was just like me, including the attorney that I worked for, the first attorney. The IRS came in and shut us down because he didn't pay his taxes. So that was my current environment. Okay, then I went to a prestigious law firm, and that is where I upgraded my environment. Now I'm working with attorneys that are making millions of dollars, attorneys passing by my desk with hand-painted ties. I was making $15 an hour, and I saw an attorney pass by me with a hand-painted tie. And I was like, I need to make more money. This man and I have no distinction. There's no reason why I don't make as much money as him. I'm going to stay in school. I'm going to keep going to school. Then today I belong to an entrepreneur organization. And this entrepreneur organization is for people that earn 7 figures or more. Within this organization, we not just have people earning 7 figures or more. We have groups that are $5 million or more, $10 million, $15 million or more. So now I get to be with people who are at the same place where I am and also in places where I want to be, right? And I get to see that there's no distinction between us. They're not better than me. They're not smarter than me. They're not healthier than me. We're pretty much all the same, right? It's all mindset. And then I also participate in masterminds where I get together with entrepreneurs, business owners from all over the world. I sit with employers that have 5,000 employees. I currently have nearly 30 employees in one of my companies. I've never had nearly 100 employees. And here I am at a mastermind with somebody that has 5,000. That expands my awareness of what is possible. And if I had any fears about that, they go away. Here in California, a lot of people have told me, don't have more than 50 employees, you're going to have a lot of problems. And so therefore, I believe and I keep myself at under 50. And then I go to a mastermind and I meet a person that has 5,000 employees. I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm going to do what I have to do when I have to do it. And I'm not going to limit myself. So be mindful of your environment. Who's whispering into your ear? Who's telling you lies? Or sometimes people tell you their truth, and their truth doesn't have to be your truth. You know, when I started my business as a vocational counselor for injured workers, the law had just changed and it devastated the industry. We went from a counselor being able to charge $3,000 to $1,000. And because of that, a lot of counselors left the industry and became real estate agents and went to whatever was hot at the moment. A lot of businesses went out of business. And I started my business when they left. And people were telling me, you're crazy. Don't do that. Everybody's leaving. This is a dead industry. Well, guess what? Because everybody left, there was a lot of business for me. And I wasn't burnt out and I wasn't used to making a lot of money. So whatever I was making was good enough for me at the time. And then I ended up growing my business again, like Alejandra said, we're the #1 counseling center in California. So watch out for your environments. It has a big influence on you. And some of us, our environment includes our family, and our family, sometimes they are our dream killers. And it's not because they mean to do that. It's just because they're coming from fear. Like if you say to your husband or your wife or your mom that you're going to leave your job and open a business, if they don't have an experience of that, they get afraid that you're not going to have any money and that you're going to lose your home. You're going to move in with them. Everything's going to fall apart. So they'll tell you their fears, and don't let that get in your space. Thank you very much. I know you're afraid for me. And this is what I'm doing to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it continues and people are fearful for you and they keep making comments, stay away for a while, because it's a very vulnerable stage when you are doing something new, like starting a business, changing a job, starting a new relationship, leaving an old relationship. Be conscious and just have people around you that support you, that they can see the vision that you're creating for your own life. And my last thing for all of you, I want to say is celebrate your small wins. I have a big vision today, right? I want to impact 1 billion people or more. If I tell you today I've only impacted 40,000, it feels like that's nothing. Maybe I'm not going to hit my goal. But you know what? I celebrate the one person that I did impact. I celebrate the 100. I just celebrated 40,000 people that I have impacted. And every day I make a difference. So I celebrate the small wins. I went to Mount Everest and I tell people, what do you think you see when you climb the highest mountain in the world? You see more mountains to climb. Once you hit your big, hairy, audacious vision, your goal, there's going to be more and more. So that's what happens. You expand your mindset, you expand your capacity of what you can know yourself to do and to be. And so you want to celebrate along the way. Keep yourself always celebrating the small wins, okay? And eventually you'll get to your big win, and then you're going to up your big win. And before you know it, you're making miracles happen. So celebrate your small wins. This is my book. It's available on Amazon, and I share my story. These are some of the companies that I'm affiliated with. I was also voted 2020 Latina of Influence. One of my miracles that I'm most proud of is that I used to be deathly afraid of public speaking, and I was invited to speak at the United Nations. And the United Nations is partnering up with entrepreneurs because we can help them with their sustainable development goals, which we have goals that we have employees in our companies, so we can share the sustainable development goals with our employees and make the world a better place. If you go to this website, you can get for free a download of the exact questions that were asked of me way back when I created my miracle vision. And it's a 4-minute guided exercise, and you get free worksheets that you can print and fill them out. And then I recommend to you to draw it after you filled in all the questions, so that way your brain can see all of the details. This is an exercise that we do individually or we do it in group. Okay, so you guys can feel free to sit your families down and do it with them, which is I do that with my family. I do that with my friends. I do it in my relationship. We definitely do it on December 31st. We envision what the next year is going to bring, what miracles the next year is going to bring. All of you can go to this website and download that free information. I want to first tell you that nobody becomes successful by themselves. We all get help, okay? And for me, it was my teachers in school along the way who saw something in me that I couldn't see myself. I call them pushy angels, including my delinquency counselor in high school, who always checked in on me after I left high school to see when I was going to return for my high school diploma, always urging me to come to adult school, take the classes that I needed in order to earn my high school diploma. From there, my first boss, he was encouraging me also. My second boss was the first Latino lawyer that I had ever met. So these are people that I call pushy angels. And now I feel like if we made it, it's up to us to help other people make it, for us to become pushy angels for other people, to notice something in somebody else. So my call to action to you all is to go back to your organizations or your communities or even your own family and shine the light on somebody. People are not present to their own greatness. They don't know what they're capable of. And maybe you can be the one that makes that difference for them. Maybe you're the one that inspires them to go back to school, to believe that they can be in a better relationship and not an abusive one. Maybe they can get a certificate. Maybe they can be a professional and not struggle so much in minimum wage jobs, whatever situation that they're in. That's who I want all of us to be, pushy angels. Awesome. This is my website. I'm also on Instagram and I post daily on Instagram. I share a lot. I know somebody just asked if I mentor. I do mentor, but how I feel that I do it is through my postings and sharing stories and emails. And then people write to me and I do respond. I am checking all of my messages. So these are the ways to get a hold of me as well.